All right, let's talk about something I bet you've felt. You're working with AI, you're making progress, building things, learning, and then bam, you hit a wall. It just feels like you can't go any further, right? Like there's a hard limit. Well, in this explainer, we're going to talk about how to smash right through that wall.
So, our thinking on this is actually based on a really fantastic article from the Colaberry School blog. It just perfectly nails this mental block that so many of us run into with AI. So, yeah, let's get into it.
But first, we have to ask the big question, right? Why do most of us get stuck? I mean, these tools are supposed to be incredibly powerful, so why does it so often feel, well, restrictive? We're going to really unpack that feeling.
Okay, section 1, the AI wall. This really gets to the heart of it. It all boils down to what we can call the AI wall. It's this feeling, this perception that the rules are totally rigid, that the path forward is super narrow and the possibilities are limited. And honestly, it's a super common place to start. When you look closer, this feeling kind of has two sides to it. On one side, it feels like everything is solid, totally fixed, like you're just snapping together these unchangeable blocks. And on the other side, the whole process just feels slow, complex, and difficult. It's that combo that really makes you feel like you're stuck in the mud. But then, something can shift. And the best analogy for it is that incredible moment in The Matrix. You know the one. It's when Neo suddenly stops seeing the world and starts seeing the code. Everything that seemed so solid just dissolves, and all that's left is the underlying structure. And that's it. That's the big aha moment. You realize that the wall you kept running into, it wasn't real. It was never solid to begin with. Those limits weren't actually part of the technology. The truth is, what you can build is way more fluid, way more flexible than you ever thought. All right, so let's get into the shift itself. From execution to design. What does that actually mean? Well, it's all about moving away from just thinking about execution, just doing tasks, and shifting into a much bigger, way more powerful mindset. The mindset of a designer. So the first big change is your perspective. The old view is just seeing tools. You ask, okay, what tool do I need for this one specific job? But the new view, that's about seeing systems. You start to see how all these different pieces can actually connect and work together to create something much, much bigger. And then there's the next piece of the puzzle. You stop thinking in these rigid, linear steps. Do step 1, then step 2, then step 3. Nope. Instead, you start designing flows. These are dynamic, continuous streams where information and actions are constantly moving and adapting inside your system. And finally, this is a big one. You stop focusing just on tasks. The old way is to make a list of what a program does. The new way is to define what your system is capable of. Now, that might sound like a small change in wording, but trust me, it's a massive difference. It's the difference between a to-do list and a declaration of potential. And look, this changes the entire game right from the very beginning. The old question was tactical. How do I build this? Simple enough. But the new question is strategic. It's visionary. It's what should this system be capable of? And asking that question, well, that just blows the doors wide open to a universe of new ideas. And this quote really says it all. The limits you are working within weren't real. They were assumptions. That's the absolute core of it. Those walls, those roadblocks, the things you thought were impossible, they were never real barriers. They were just assumptions you brought with you. And once you see that, man, you're free. So what actually happens when you make this leap? What's on the other side of that wall? This is where it gets really, really cool. You start unlocking possibilities that, honestly, you probably never even thought were on the table. And here's a super important point. This whole evolution, it's not about finding some magical new tool or a better AI model. The tech was probably already there. The real change happens inside your own mind. You're just finally seeing the potential that was there the whole time. And the results? Oh, they're very real. All of a sudden, you can build things way faster. You can hook up different systems almost instantly. You can create workflows that just run on their own. That whole cycle from having an idea to making it real gets so much shorter. You see, at this point, you're not just building anymore. You're not just a coder. You're really an architect. You're designing systems that aren't just static tools sitting there. They're dynamic, living things that can do some pretty incredible stuff. I mean, think about it. You can design these systems to actually think, to analyze information. Then they can act on that analysis. They can adapt if things change. And they can operate 24/7 without you having to constantly babysit them. It's almost like you're designing a little digital organism.
And that brings us to the final, most important takeaway, the biggest unlock in AI. It isn't the technology. It's learning to think differently. If you really want to tap into the true power of this stuff, stop looking for the next shiny tool. Instead, focus on changing your perspective. That's the real key. So the question isn't just, what can AI do? The real question is, what can you imagine?